So what about standing desks? I think they're a great alternative for folks. More options you have, the better. Just like an expensive chair, because typically it could be useful, right? But sometimes the expensive chairs actually make matters worse because it can give people the impression that all you need to do is rely on the support of the chair, right? It just kind of like sticks you in this position and then you're good to go. So even if you're in the most comfortable position, you have to appreciate that in terms of your spine, right, your spinal mechanics, there's still load on the discs, right? There's load on the nerves, right? And if you don't move, the pressure is going to keep going into the same direction, right? So over time, that's a problem, right? So I encourage people to find different ways of sitting, right? So I've got no issue with a person crossing their legs for short periods of time, so long as they don't have like an issue with their hip or sciatica or something. As long as it's comfortable, that's usually a good indicator. Maybe put your legs up on the table, and just, sit like this for a while, right? So there's lots of different things, sit towards with the back support, right? Sit towards the front, sit with one leg forward, right? Switch, right? And really just switch it up, right? But you have to stand up. That's the bottom line. You have to stand up. You should stand up every 20 minutes or so and just stand up and reach overhead. I mean, if you're doing this and you're sitting, then you sure as hell can stand up and walk around for a few seconds. It just makes no sense for you just to sit here and do all these little things, and think that that's enough, right? So you got to stand up, you got to move around, you got to get that blood flowing, you got to get that oxygen and nutrition going back to these discs, because sitting, you have to understand, is a high impact activity. You know, some research I've seen is basically could make it appear that it's worse than operating a jackhammer, right? So really take that seriously in terms of your own back health, right? So standing desks are cool. They go up and down. I've got a cheap one that I use once in a while. I got it for a couple $100. But you could spend 3 grand on one of these things. But if you don't know how to stand, then you're going to struggle with a standing desk as well. And then maybe you're going to get a treadmill desk, or a desk that hooks up to a bicycle or whatever. So the bottom line is, it's up to you to invest the time in learning how to be a more organized individual, right? So how you sit, how you stand, how you walk, all the most basic things that you do are within your power to improve, right? So the more you rely on an external device to make your life easier, the less you realize that you already have all the answers within yourself, right? So, but you do have to practice, right? You have to practice becoming conscious. You have to practice moving, right? And you have to repeat it, right? Until it gets ingrained into your nervous system so that you form new habits, right? Because most folks are kind of stuck doing things the way they did when they were kids. You have some injuries, and then your behaviors start to shift a little bit because of the injuries, but you're essentially walking and standing with the same neuromuscular patterns that you had when you were just a kid. So if you want to be a better mover, right, make an investment in yourself. It's free. All it costs is your time.